God, I love science. Let me tell you about the Bible's camel problem. This is a really interesting article I saw on Raw Story earlier. There are 21 references to camels in the first book of the Bible, the first books of the Bible, and 2 Israeli archaeozoologists have decided to sift through a site just north of modern, I'm going to butcher this, Eilat, to look for camel bones. That's the area in the Bible that's being referenced. So they said, hey, how about we do an empirical test to determine if the stuff they're talking about makes sense? So they went there, and they decided to figure out the date of the bones, which you can do through radiocarbon dating, of course. And they can tell whether a camel was wild or domesticated because you look at the leg bones, and if they are thickened, that means that they have been carrying unnaturally heavy loads, so they must have been domesticated. And if you have a graveyard of camels, you can also see which proportion are male, because males were preferred by humans for use because they can carry more. So what they found is none of the domesticated camel bones they found date from earlier than around 930 BC. In other words, that's about 1,500 years after the stories in the Bible claimed they were there. So as Raw Story points out, quote, whoever put the camels into the story of Abraham and Isaac might as well have improved the story of Little Red Riding Hood by having her ride up to Granny's in an SUV. I love science, man. I love science. It just shuts the door on stupid mythologies one at a time. So basically what they're saying is it's flat out impossible that camels were in the region that they said the camels were in because they weren't in the region at the time that they said they were. Period. The end. And they weren't there by a long shot, by 1,500 years. Wow. So this is even further proof that, you know, way after the fact, the people who wrote the Bible put in the stories that they wanted. But here's my question. Is this going to stop fundamentalists for even a second? The amazing thing is we all know that there's nothing. It's just water off a duck's ass to a fundamentalist. You know? Water off a duck's ass. Oh, you found something scientifically that says that my book is bullshit? Well, that's all right. We'll just put the science aside and say that the science is flawed. Okay, but do you understand what science is? Science is you test shit to figure out what the reality is. So you come up with a hypothesis which explains something, and then you test it, and then if it's false, you go back to the drawing board, and you got to try again, and you can't have something be an answer until it's an actual answer. Now, that's nice, but we disagree. Okay, do you understand that means you can't disagree? It's not possible to disagree. Do you not understand that? In the same way that the fucking polio vaccine we know can stop polio is the same way that we just figured out that the camels that were from the region in the Bible were not there at the time that they said they were. Do you understand that? That's not open to interpretation or opinion. You're just wrong if you think that book is true. But we disagree. It's cool. For fuck's sake, man, it's like talking to a brick wall.